I'm producing an animated short film called Mystery House with my husband and my friend, separate people. Here are some materials from the pitch deck and the storyboard that were made by my husband, Alex. I am co-producing with my friend Christian, which is really awesome. We've worked together once before and we've kept in touch. So yeah, it's really exciting. It's a historical drama. I have been learning a lot about what it takes to produce an animated short film. What the process of animating is like, what storyboards are, what the various personnel on animation production do. All I knew going into this was like, just from what I've seen on behind the scenes, like DVD stuff from like the Disney movies that I grew up watching. So I had an idea about like storyboards, what they were, but now I learned that that is like really the beginning of the process, like after character design and like, script and things like that. Like once you start turning the film into an animatic, storyboards is where all of that work begins. And an animatic is basically a watchable storyboard, and it's something I'm going to be posting here on this channel, so I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping to get like feedback from you guys, but also whoever ends up watching it. And I have to think about, who are we going to hire and like what the timeline is and things like that. And I will be figuring this out with Christian and Alex over time, but I've taken this on as like my passion project too, which is really exciting because I've been nagging my husband to work on this for like a year, and it finally got to a place where I was like, hey, make a pitch deck, do a storyboard, send it to Christian, like let's see what he says, because we previously wanted to work with Christian on a live action film, but it is so expensive to do that, and we live in California, so permits were going to be expensive. Naturally, animation was Alex's idea, because if you can draw it, you can do it. You don't need no permit, you don't need waivers, you can do stunts, all the stunts you want, you can do backflips, explosions. I'll give you an update on how that goes. I think I'm going to learn a lot, not only as a composer, but as someone who works in film. So yeah, very early days, but I'm very, very excited, and I just had someone sign up today, so I'm very, very happy. Shout out to Will, you know who you are. I've been wanting to do Patreon for a long time, but when I first started, I didn't have any confidence in like myself, and I didn't think that I had anything valuable or interesting to add to people's lives on a monthly basis, because it's a subscription, right? What might be useful for someone else who wants to enter this industry but doesn't necessarily want to take a course or do one-on-one mentorship or go to school, right? Like what if they just want something where they show up and it's like they get to ask, a composer what they're doing and like how are they getting work, and I don't know, there's more like a relationship or something. Maybe I'm that person for someone out there. Maybe I'm that person for you when it comes to like career stuff and navigating the emotions that come with that. I think that's what I'm trying to get really good at, or like known for, is like just I don't know if it's like philosophy or just like the way that I go about my own career. I think some of that has resonated with you guys, and the very small portion of my YouTube audience that watches every video, that likes every video, and like quietly watches, those are the composers that I want to make this Patreon for. And so I'm sharing music that I'm working on. I'm sharing zines that I've been making, my notebook entries that I think are interesting. And if you don't know what zines are, they're handmade magazines. I recently discovered them. Yeah, I really, really love them. I've always wanted an excuse to work with my hands and work with paper. And although I have been able to, use my notebook to draft ideas and make lists and plan and everything, it was never really integrated into my creativity in the same way music is. And so when I discovered zines, I was like, wow, I have like a little container to fill with ideas and share. Because notebooks are great, but they're not exactly the most shareable thing. I would have to take pictures or like scan them or something. And with zines, like it could be as simple as like one piece of paper that I just scan and make copies of and then mail to whoever I want to share it with. And so that's something I've made a part of my Patreon. So if you love my videos and you're curious about this part of my life and like my creative practice, you can check it out on my Patreon. But yeah, we got a lot of cool events coming up this month. I have a couple of goals that I'm working on through co-working sessions, which are being held Monday, Wednesday, and Saturdays, and then studio hours on Fridays. Finishing a track on my album, Souvenirs. I'm giving myself the whole year to work on it, and it's only about halfway through the year, so I guess I'm on a pretty good track. I'm gonna take my time and like polish up the tracks and see, where I can make things a little more cohesive. I'm also working with a friend on the album cover art and a like fake movie poster of the album cover art. So I'm really excited about that, and I'll share more later on. Another goal I have is to create a budget for Mystery House, the short film that I'm working on with my husband and my friend. Yeah, as a producer, that's something I've got to do. I want Alex to have a good time directing this. This is the first time he will have directed something probably since he was in high school. So I'm pretty sure he's excited, but I can tell he's just like trying to stay calm and like not get too ahead of himself and like worry about details, because he works in a somewhat creative industry, I would say. So I'm pretty sure those skills will come in handy. And after that, I need to research filmmakers for the composers that I'm working with through my creative matchmaking service. In case you don't remember what that is, or you've never heard those words before, I basically source filmmakers for composers who want to outsource the part of like finding who to contact and learning about a filmmaker, making sure that they're the right person for them and like their music and their goals. And so this is something I've been working on for the past year. In the beginning, I worked with a small handful of composers, and for various reasons, like it didn't work out. And so I've had to adjust things as I went along, and I'm finding that like working with composers over a long period of time, over like a year, is really the best way to move forward, because a lot of the filmmakers that I am trying to connect with, the composers I work with, they are really good at what they do, and it takes time to grow those relationships, to follow up, and for the timing to be right. There's just so many factors that go into whether or not a project is going to come to you in that moment. And so the composers I worked with for just like a handful of months, it was really difficult to, say like, we're going to end this service and I wish you the best, but I hope that you'll continue and like keep up your efforts, because it's part of the work, like being patient and continuing to meet people is the process, really. There are filmmakers that I've been in contact with for a year, and I've only gotten just to meet. I've only just met recently, and these filmmakers are not, student filmmakers. They are people who have been in the industry for a long time, who have been recognized for their work, and it kind of like blew my mind how quickly the time went by, because I was like focused on other things, but also at the same time, it felt like a really long process. And one last update, I won't share too much about it yet, but it's in the very early stages, and it's basically, I'm trying to help the filmmaker gather funds for production by writing music for their sizzle reel, which will be used to apply for grant money. I hope that you enjoyed this little quick cozy chat, and we will be doing this a little more often. I honestly need it. So thank you for watching, and if you made it this far, drop a notebook emoji to let me know you made it this far, and I hope you have a great month ahead. Bye!